I'm just going to let that go. 2, 1, boom. Okay. So the reason I did that was because the music ended, and it's so cool to have it actually time out like that and just have the music end. And I used to have it timed with the music, but now the way my Director Mini works, that the music is attached to the input, but the timer is separate from the input. Whereas on the YoloBox, they're all together, so you can actually make the timer the exact length of the music. And when you go to that timer, with the music attached to it, it works. So William over here is in Long Island, New York. And as always, I love to know where everyone is watching from today. So thank you all for joining me. Looks like my green screen looks a little clamped. Let's see if I can tweak this a little bit. I don't know why. Edit. Let's come over here to my chroma key adjustments. Save. There we go. That's a little better. And interestingly enough, for whatever reason, I did another show in Restream. I built another show in Restream, which is where these comments and everything are coming from. And in building that one, somehow the color for this one got messed up. I don't know. It should be purple because that's the color of the show. So it's just a very interesting, going to be a very interesting show today. And welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining me on today's show for StreamTek. It's great to be back. Last week was Thanksgiving here in the United States. So spent some time with family and friends and did not do a show last week. So if you missed me last week, that's why you missed me, because I was not here. J Film says, let's go. Don Cato says, salute all. Keith Crawford, Kenai Sports Live. We'll have to watch later. Well, thank you for dropping in anyway. Geezers Gaming. That's a cool one. I like it. I'm going to have to look you up. Geezers Gaming is in Searville, Tennessee. And Estudio Somcast is in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Good to see you there. I don't know if you're in the same time zone I am. I think you're more east than I am. And well, Brazil's really big, so. Heathrow Live up in the UK is hoping we are well. We are well. We're doing very good. Thank you for asking. Note before I forget to ask about any Wi-Fi keyboard options. No, there's, well, Wi-Fi through, I mean, the Ultra has a tablet interface, so you can use the app on a tablet over Wi-Fi and do things, but I don't think there's a keyboard, Wi-Fi keyboard. William Lowndes is in Long Island, New York. And Data Deval Video is Arlington, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. Good to have you here. Oh, Geezer's Gaming comes back in. Just order the Ultra. Should get it in a couple days. Be sure to update. And I should note, let me take that away. I should note that today's show is about an update. Let me go to me over. The 2.74 update, which is not fully publicly available yet, but it has been announced in the general user group. So that's why I'm doing today's show on it, even if not everybody can get it yet. So I just want to make that clear that certain things I'm doing here, you may not see in your Ultra yet. Some people may have it. I have it. I have worked with YOLO for a while, and I'm on the beta team, but it's not fully publicly available yet. So if your version doesn't have it yet, that's why. So this, you know, it's almost done, I guess. But they said there's a little bit more tweaks, and they want to get some more feedback. And I found a couple things. I actually shot a couple videos this morning about little things I'm finding. But hopefully it is just about done. Maybe it'll come out as 2.75, maybe it'll come out as 2.76. But basically, the features that I'm going to show you are pretty much done. There are a couple things that I think are really worthwhile. And I've got my sheet here to make sure I don't forget anything. And I've got my pencil, my pen, and I'm going to cross them off as I cover them to make sure I cover everything. Again, this is a live show. The reason you're here and the reason I'm here is so that we can communicate in basically real time. You're about 20 seconds behind me if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. We are live to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, I hope LinkedIn, and we're not doing Instagram today because I'm using those cables into the Ultra, so I can't feed in the Instagram machine. And if you have a comment, put it into the comments because I am getting comments from all those platforms. That's the whole point of all of us being here. I am not AI. I'm not going to read from a spec sheet. I'm not just going to be like, check out the latest features on the YoloBox Ultra. They are really good. This new feature is the best. I'm not going to do that because this is not AI. The whole reason you tune in is because it's not artificial, I think. I hope. William Lowndes, is it stable? If I was AI, I would tell you this is the best operating system ever, but I am not AI. Is it stable? It has been stable in my testing so far. So there's that. On the other hand, I use it here in the studio. I am not out in the field doing sports. I am not unplugging and replugging a bunch of things during a really hectic show and things like that. So depends on your use case and what you're doing. Because I know with like the Mini, if I had it recording and somebody else unplugged their laptop at the stage, the Mini would freeze. I cannot stand that. Basic bug fixes. And I know this right here, I'll get it right. This right here is like the most important question you could possibly ask when it comes to live streaming hardware. I've always says, make it bulletproof. I write for Streaming Media Magazine, and that was actually an editorial one month. Make it bulletproof needs to be a feature. The fact that it won't crash if you unplug things, you can't make it crash. And I'm very good at making things crash. Is it stable? I can't speak to all usages. Hassan Rafi is in Lavon, Texas. Good to see you. Enjoying the cool weather today. Mike Sabatini, good to see you. From frigid LaSalle, Illinois. Oh, man. Thank goodness I don't think you got the 6 feet of snow that Buffalo and everybody else got, but forecast of possible 6 feet of snow, but that's crazy time. Oh, yeah. The studio is in Brazil 2 hours ahead, Eastern time. Oh, so you are definitely ahead. I'm Central time, so you're maybe 3 hours ahead of me. Which is the most stable Ultra update? It's a hard... I can't answer the question only because it's not like you can pick and choose. You can only go up to the latest one. So when you get an update, you don't get to choose which update you go to. You go to the latest one. And then if that one is not stable and you're waiting on a bug fix to fix whatever little thing, Apple came out with a thing, and as the phone was shipping, they had to release an update because there was a bug. It happens with all consumer electronics. And if you end up in that place, it's not like you can downgrade. So me telling you that one particular number is better than another doesn't help you because you can't go to that one. You can only go to the latest one. Chris Pelser, hello from Chris in South Africa. Wow, cool, very cool. Great to have you in. Hassan Rafi, heard a lot of issues. You think it's really ready for big time now? Well, I will say that in the latest sheet, in the latest blurb that they published, and I'm going to take partial credit for it, that I've bugged them to list out the bug fixes, because if somebody is experiencing a particular bug and maybe not other bugs, they want to know that that bug is fixed before upgrading. So fix the frame duplication issue caused by PIP, fix the issue where the guest source appears blurry in the custom multi-view, which is very specific, a remote guest in the custom multi-view as opposed to the regular multi-view. That's very specific. Improve the stability of the replay function, fixed audio and video sync issues, fixed the issue where the screen could not be woken up after adjusting the brightness to 0%. And I got hit by that too. I dimmed the brightness down, put it to sleep, tried to wake it up. I got no picture. I don't know what's going on. And somebody says, yeah, just take it off of 0. So apparently that was a bug that's been fixed. So that's an example where listing that particular bug that has been fixed helps me feel better about, say, okay, now I can do that thing. Don't just say bug fixes. because that doesn't help anybody. We need to know what bugs have been fixed, because if we keep hitting a bug and you've fixed it, tell us you fixed it. So optimize the stability of the UVC output frame rate for those people who are taking the USB-C or the USB out and running it into a computer to hook into Zoom or Teams or whatever. And remove the transition effect after manually exiting replay mode. So if you are doing sports and do replay a lot, they remove the transition effect when manually exiting replay mode. So there's that. Again, a very specific use case where I need to manually exit as opposed to letting it play out and exit on its own. I need to manually exit it now, but I don't want to go through that transition effect. I just want to get to the game. So they have 14 new features listed in the document they published, and who knows, maybe the time it's actually released, there may be more. Let's continue down the comments. Don Cato says, thanks for the answer. Ultra works well with Rode Wireless Pro for mobile streaming. Cool. I'm wired here. I have a mic on the desk, and it actually very convoluted. I have the mic on the desk that goes into the ATEM, which is doing a little bit of EQ, which then goes into my director mini. So that's what you're hearing. I will open today's show up for remote guests to come in, because I wanted to test the mix minus in the Ultra. So I will open, I have a QR code at the ready. So, you know, fire up your cell phones or secondary devices. Although if you're using a secondary device, remember to turn off your primary device so you don't get 20-second delay in the audio. And so we're going to try that out. But in order to do that, I have to switch audio inputs. So if I end up not turning off my main mic or not turning off the Ultra or getting that confused, do tell me in the comments that you're hearing audio doubling, because that's basically what it'll be, because the direct audio versus audio going into the Ultra, then coming back out of the Ultra is going to be delayed by like 5 frames. Knowing what you know now, and we're starting from scratch, would you go with the Talent or the Ultra? It depends on your use case. As always, it's like, which is the best camera? Which is the best live streaming all-in-one tablet? Do you need to do remote guests? Well, then it's the Ultra. Do you have other OBSBot hardware where you want to be able to turn on AI tracking automatic, you know, from the device, remotely from the Surface? Well, then you need the Talent. You know, it comes down to like your particular use case. The Ultra has the ability to bring in the remote guests. It has the custom layouts that the Talent does. It has the commenting. It has multicasting capability. The Ultra has multicasting capability. The Talent does not. The Talent has external batteries. So if you want to be able to like swap out your batteries as you go, that could be a factor. They both do internal recording. If you need more ISO records at HD, well, then you're going to want the Ultra, which will allow you to do 4 ISO records on an HD program, whereas the Talent has 2 records, and one of them was probably going to be, one of the encodes is going to be your program encode, and then you get 1 ISO. So there's that. You know, you look at the features, write down your features. This is the most important thing I got to have. And this is the most important thing. And this is important. And this would be great. I would really like to have this. Yeah, but starting in that list, and then write down which ones have those things. And when you start to getting to features that you need but don't exist in that tablet, that's going to make your decision for you. Which power bank is the best for the Ultra? Any Anchor device worth the Ultra? I know you did a show on it. We have 4 feet in Madison, Ohio. Thanks. This is what I was talking about. Big snowfall up in the Great Lakes area, 4 feet. And for those in other countries, that's like 1.5 meters of snow. 1.5 meters of snow, depending on how the wind is blowing. 1.5 meters. That's a lot of snow. Oh my goodness, let's see. Can I do this? Woohoo! Super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate this. You jumping in there and wow, throwing down some money. I appreciate that. I have to say this is I think the first super chat that really came in, and I'm humbled. I am actually really humbled. I give thanks for you, the audience, that show that what I do here on StreamTek is actually of value to pieces. Let's go back up. Boop, 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 boop. The next one, oh, it was going, which power bank is the best for the Ultra? The Ultra needs 45 watts. That's the key thing, 45 watts. So you're going to need a PD output. And I have my Ultra hooked up to this like massive 240 watt AC adapter with 7 outputs on it. And that's what keeps this thing charged. You're going to need a PD output. It's going to be able to, that one output has to be capable of 45 watts or more output. And then you're going to need a good cable. The Ultra comes with a thicker cable than any other YOLO product. And it's because it needs 45 watts of power to get from the power supply into the Ultra. And also know that over the course of distance, DC voltages drop. So if you was, oh, I need a 12-foot cable. Well, the wire is going to have to be thicker in order to make sure that you still get 45 watts at 9 volts or 12 volts or whatever it is at the receiving end. So that's why when you find the 45 watt cable or the high power cable costs more, there's a reason for that. It's because it's a better cable. If you used any of the other USB cables that came with any of the other YOLO boxes with the Ultra, it would not work. Noel, good to see you, man. He is down in Puerto Rico, probably where it's still nice and warm because it's chilly here in Texas. I update and it is working fine. Good to hear you, man. If you are in the YoloLiv group, Noel posts a lot. He does weddings and other events down in Puerto Rico, and he has a fantastic setup, multiple wireless cameras, all running. A very, very smart and capable video producer using YOLO. Hassan, I have 8 YOLO devices. Wow. And I have recommended over 100 to YOLO folks. Number of issues at time when we upgrade to new versions, so previous stuff stop working. Web overlay at times. Answer my question. Should we upgrade or stay with which one is working? I think that's what the intent of today's show is, to like walk through the features that we have going in the 2.7.4 update to see if that's where you want to go. Hensley Isaac is watching from Antigua and Barbuda. I know Antigua, but I didn't know Barbuda. Lay 12 live streams. Hey, there you are. Hello from the UK. He said he might be tuning in today. Can I connect a console to the Ultra and to a TV to play same time with no lag? There will be lag going through the Ultra because any HDMI input is not synchronized to the other HDMI inputs, because I'm assuming you probably want to add a camera or something. So there has to be a delay where the Ultra takes the signal, finds the start of the frame, syncs up the different inputs, and then passes it on. That's going to be a frame or 2 delay. And if you're talking milliseconds, that's going to be at 30 frames a second, 30 milliseconds to 60 milliseconds of delay. Is that going to affect your game? That's up to you. If it's me and I'm playing Frogger, no. But if you're doing a first-person shooter game, then that could well be the difference between seeing the enemy in time or not. Stability point of view, I haven't used all the different versions. YOLO's been hard at work, and I have missed 1 or 2 of the beta versions to be able to comment on which version is more stable than the others. So I apologize. I haven't kept up with every single version. Oh, okay. Chris is going to rub it in. 93 degrees Fahrenheit, pretty warm. I don't know. If it goes up to 60 here Fahrenheit in Texas, I'll take that. I like 60 better than 90. Stop saying 57 degrees is cold in San Diego, California. Yeah, and you get no snow. Well, unless you're up in the mountains, you get some snow. Do, 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 do. You have some minor audio issues, slight crackling, breakup, but it is very low. Yeah, it might be just a little hot into the Director Mini. I can thank you for that note. I'll take a look at here and I will drop this down a little bit. There we go. And see if that does improve things. With that, I've covered all of the introductions and welcomes and initial questions. Again, I thank you all for being here. My name is Anthony Brokus. We're going to talk about the YoloBox Ultra 274 update in today's show. But I also want to let you know that if you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitch, the StreamTek channel on YouTube is where everything ends up. That's the place to go. And I have enough pointing surfaces here. Last week, I did the GM Financial Parade of Lights. I live streamed the Parade of Lights. We went to YouTube and Facebook. We had over 5,000 impressions over the course of just the parade. And then the video was taken and uploaded as a video. So there's an additional 5,900, basically 6,000 views there. The parade itself, you can see right here in the, which cursor am I moving? Yes, I'm moving this one. Down here, the live stream has 866 views, up to almost 600 people live at one time, which is pretty good for a local parade in the Fort Worth area. But again, since that time, 6,000 people have viewed the trimmed version of the parade. And so that's pretty cool. That's what I did last week. And you can always join me on the StreamTek channel on YouTube or on Facebook, where I'll post different updates and things like that. And just a regular reminder that if you're interested in a free app for iPad that does multi-camera live switching, recording, instant replay, camera correction, color correction, audio mixing, and a whole bunch of other things, and it's free with Android and iOS as cameras. That's AirMix, and I created an AirMix group. The software is free. It's available in the iOS store and the Android Play store, and you can download it, try it out. And this group is for people because Teradek has made it all free, turned off all the paid options, put it out there for anybody to use, but there's zero support. There's zero updates. If something doesn't work, there's nobody to complain to. Well, I mean, you can join this group and complain to the rest of us, but we can't fix it. But this is just basically, we got 37 people here. We're all people who have used it, and we can also help support each other, find workarounds and things like that. I'll continue down the list. If you need just general streaming information, you can go to streamingmedia.com. Streaming Media Producer, I write for them, and you can sign up for the regular newsletter that comes in your email, so you don't have to go find it. And if you need consulting, you can go to stream4, the number 4.us, and then go up to the contact, and you can contact me directly. Lastly, I got a Patreon, whatever. It's like a dyslexia thing, but that's me on Patreon. Sign into Patreon with Google. No, I'm already signed in. And we're going to get to YoloCast in a minute. So I got YoloCast set up here. If you're not familiar, if you are a YOLO user, there's an online graphics thing that is included in your you didn't pay anything for it account on YoloLiv. So and also they have an editor too. Go figure that one out. Haven't even touched that. But Overlay Lab is where you can go into the library and you can select all sorts of game. See up here it says game, wedding, sports, business, and all these different titles and overlays and backgrounds and timers and things like that, scoreboards. And look, this one's like you were doing, it's a quiz master. So, you can have the 4 answers. Do you want to phone a friend? Is that your final answer type of thing? You've got this one down here for basketball, culling, volleyball, cricket, rugby scoreboard, just a general scoreboard minimal. And I actually grabbed one of today's, I use this one, the lower accent, because these are actually animated. So one of the things people say is, well, the YOLO doesn't have animated titles. Well, it actually kind of does. It's just they come with a little bit of a delay. So like if I wanted to go to, let's go to 2, and I'll just do visual. So this is the Ultra, and I have it, oh, the Ultra's feeding itself. Okay, great. Let's just go to me. There we go. So now you can see, here's my audio mixer over here. And if I want to go to my overlay here, I could just tap on this, give it a second because it has to pull it from the web. There you go. You could join me on today's show with that QR code. Ooh, did I already put that up on the air? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So I'm not going to be calling anybody for a little while. We're going to go through some of these things. But that is the join me link, so you can point your phone at it if you want. And that's that. Then we could take that off with the YOLO deck, which I'm also using right now. We got a couple more questions come in here. Joe Hagan from Ghana has chimed in. No. Thank you very much for chiming in. I always love to know where everybody is watching from because this is a worldwide show. I mean, we've got Brazil, South Africa, the UK, various places across America. I'm surprised Canada and Mexico haven't chimed in, but maybe they're watching and they just don't want to say anything. Trying to get rid of a tripod footprint with the Ultra. Is there a good rig and cage for the Ultra? Hey, I've done multiple videos on cages for the Ultra or for all of the different YOLO on the StreamTek channel. So just go to the StreamTek channel, scroll down. There's a Cage Wars. There's a follow-up video to that. So yes, there are cages for the Ultra. Can you do customized web URL via YoloCast? Customized web URL. I don't know what a customized web URL means via YoloCast. Oh, YoloCast. So you want to broadcast via YoloCast. I can't answer that because I haven't utilized YoloCast. I'm not a YoloCast expert. Have you done 4K streaming via the Ultra and had any specific issue, lags, or overheating you came across, assuming 4K takes more CPU resources? It certainly does. 4K does take more resources because even when you go to do an ISO record, you're limited to like a total number of like bandwidth, a total number of frames. And if you do HD, it's essentially four HDs and one 4K. So you can do 4 HD ISO records, or you could do one 4K record. So it's a limited amount of bandwidth inside of the YoloBox Ultra. Have I done 4K streaming? I have not, because A, I have not had a client ask for it. B, when in discussions with people about 4K streaming, the question was, what are people going to be watching this on? And it was usually like, oh, well, most of our viewers we know are on mobile. If they're watching on a phone, they're going to not even see full HD, let alone benefit anything from 4K. If you're doing like a home theater streaming experience, like if I'm watching Top Gun Maverick off of my Roku on my big screen in the living room, then 4K has a benefit. Yeah, so if you're doing something that has lots of detail, like an Indian wedding, that would benefit from a 4K just to see the grandeur and the detail in the wardrobe and the decorations and everything. That would benefit from it. But there's most things, especially corporate and news and talk show, don't benefit from 4K at all. So I have not. Hi from Macedonia. Well, thank you very much, Tag, for being there. Like I said, this is a worldwide show, and I love to know where everybody's watching from, and that's why I say at the top of the show, hey, where are you watching from today? Hey, you move around too. I did a show from Hawaii. I did a show. Did I do a show from Iceland? I don't think I did, but I was in Iceland. And later, I think I will actually be doing a show from Germany in December. I will, oh, that's later this month. 2 weeks. 2 weeks I'll be doing a show from Germany. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. I don't even know what gear I'm going to bring to do that yet. I'm still figuring that out. And if you have any streaming questions, throw them into the comments. Does not have to be YoloBox related. I'll answer them to the best of my knowledge, but I'm not an AI bot. I'm not going to instantly search the web and give you a generic answer. I'm only going to speak to you from my experience doing live production for about 20 years. Now, let's go to the list. Let's go side by side, and we've got the Ultra sitting right over there. I started doing a show for Bird Dog, so I've got this cool Bird Dog in the news graphic. They have a special right now on their new Ultra cameras. So if you have any brand, any year camera, and you register it with them as a virtual trade-in, they will give you $200, $300, $400 off one of their new X series cameras. So pretty good deal. And it's not limited to Black Friday or Cyber Monday or anything. What's new? Number one, supports background music. And if you haven't seen it, there's this new icon. Let's go me over. There's this new icon right here. There's background music. So you can come in here, you tap on that, and no music files have been added yet. So I'm going to add it from my SD card. So say done. So there's my thing. You can add more than one track. Go back in, add. That's my closing song right there. Done. So now I got those two things. It's got a volume control right up here. You can't change the volume per song. So if one song is recorded louder than another song, or one's an electronic in your face song and the other one's a classical song, you are going to hear a various level. So that's the background music there. You can see the little grippies off to the right. These little grippies right here. So with these little grippies, you can take that and I can change the order of things and stuff like that. What I don't see on here is I don't see a loop. You know, I don't see like I'm telling it to loop once, loop continuously, play through and stop, or I don't see anything like that. So I'm done adding my background music. And then I go to my show. This is the thing I hadn't figured out, and somebody can jump in the comments and tell me. So I've got my audio here. I've got my audio mixer settings. Oh, I know where it is. If you go into your tools, oh no, not the tools, the YOLO deck configuration. Yes, I know, configure. You're going to come over here, background music. So you see down here, your background music has a whole series of capabilities right here if you have the YOLO deck, which is YOLO's bespoke touchpad. Connects via a nice long USB-A to USB-C cable with a nice right angle on the top, which I actually do appreciate. It's got grippers on the bottom. And so you can say, play, pause, next song, previous song, turn the volume up, turn the volume down. But if you don't use the YOLO deck, I'm hard pressed to tell you where you click play. Maybe I took those tools away. Replay, scoreboard, auto switch, video switch, network bonding. So in the new version, you can see what I've done down here is you go into your gear settings, and then in the tools order, not only can you change the order of your tools, you know, again with the little grippy icons, you can pull them up and down, which is kind of a misnomer because typically the hammer icon means more, but here it doesn't. It's just a grippy, so you can grab it and move it up and down. And then what you can also do is with these icons here, these are all active, so I could minus them or close them or take them out of what I want to see. And these are stored, and I could, with the plus, I could activate them. So I could add them, or up here with what I've got active, I could subtract these from the ones I want to see. And this is something that I have long, wanted, and I really appreciate, because down here, I need to see my overlays, my comments, volumes, and with today's show, I'm inviting people. So that is all I really want to see over here. I don't want to see bonding. Bonding is either on or it's off. I'm not going to actively need to open the bonding thing while I'm in the middle of a show. So I turn it off. I turn those things off. And then also, my destinations. I don't need to see my I could technically take the destinations away, but I do need to set them at least once. So I leave it up here, but I've moved it to the other side of the gear icon. The background music I'm not going to use. It's on the other side of the gear icon. The recording, once I started, once you set up your recording, you're not going to use this. You're just going to hit the record button up here. So you can, you do need to access the record so that you can set what you want to record in your settings and everything. You do need to set it. But once it's set, you don't need it to be at the foremost of the icon. So you could just set, hey, you know what? I'm going to move all those things that I don't need, just move them off the screen, and just put those things that I need to access right here. Actually, just these three. Actually, probably just these two. Actually, probably because I've got most of my overlays on the deck, I probably just need to access this one. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. But if you're doing sports, your layout's going to be completely different. You're not going to have remote guests, but you're going to have scoreboard controls. You're going to have other things, and you're going to have your scoreboard on the deck. So there's lots of customizability, which is what this really does give you down here. And I've got no comments yet. That's because I'm not streaming from the YoloBox. That's why. So it supports background music, supports video source duplication, which is really kind of interesting. So let us look at this. You've got HDMI 1 here. That's my camera. Let's go here. That's my camera. It's right over here. Now I'm reversed. So this is HDMI 1. And you could click on the gear icon, and you see it says replicate. Because now you got flip, horizontal, vertical. You got transition actions. You can rename it. So it says HDMI 1. You can say main camera. You can say whatever you want. You can do chroma keying, which I have done. You can see I've got the chroma key going, because if I turn off the chroma key, it's green. If I turn on the chroma key, I got my purple. So that's how that works. Done. And coming back in here, you can crop. Now you're familiar with the cropping action, so I could come in with a closer shot of just my head, and then over here over here, I could say fit it to the screen, essentially giving me a new input that is this tight. Done. So now I've got this. Oh no, I just replaced it. It didn't add a new input. Cropping. It used, on the Pro. Interesting. Well, now I don't want to crop. How do I uncrop? When I would say fit to screen, it would give me a new input. Done. There, now I got the wide shot again. Interesting. So I guess that's now part of the replicate. So now, there it is, HDMI 1.1. So I've got that source in here twice, and I can now crop this one. So it's being done differently. And instead of just having this little window floating in space, we're going to go over here and we're going to fit it to the screen. So we're just basically going to take this, fit it out, go like that, done. So now I've got my wide shot, and then I've got my close shot, my wide shot and my close shot. This really pays off if you are working in 4K. If you have a 4K camera coming in, but you're streaming in HD, that gives you the ability to do a wide shot with two people. Let me back this out. Do a wide shot with two people. And then you got close up here and a close up here, and maybe a close up of whatever they're talking about, the product. You can have all these different shots from the one 4K camera. And the advantage is that your delivery of HD, those crops, as long as you don't make them too small, are still going to be HD quality, HD resolution, because 4K is 4 times HD. It's 4, you know, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. 4 1080 windows is 4K. So you could have, you know, you can have a full HD crop over here and a full HD crop over here and still have this one mixed down and have 3 cameras from a single 4K source. So that really does pay off. Supports operations on the duplicated video sources such as cropping, chroma key, etc. So as you can see in the side by side, here we go, me over, in this right here, the chroma key is carried forward, and I wonder if I can change the chroma key in this one. Let's just pick a different background. Done. So that's interesting that you can, oh, this would actually be very useful in terms of, you know, having a different background for the close-up. So you could have something that's a little bit more blurred because as if you zoomed in, the background would become more defocused. So you can have a more defocused background for the close-up than for the wide shot, as opposed to just taking a crop of this and making it bigger. You could actually have something that's more related to actually zooming in optically. So cropping, chroma key, etc., on the video source, on the duplicated source, can be different than the main video source, which is really cool. Next one up is supports individual transition settings for video sources. And this is pretty slick. Let's just say I wanted to go to, like, I have my, let me go side by side. I have my news, you know, I'm going to do a news show. Hi, this is my introduction. And then I'm going to talk about the news. So I'm going to go to this. But I don't just want to cut. I want to do something. So you can come up here on this input and there's a transition action. Right here, transition action. So I'm going to click on the transition action and it says follow the system settings, or we're going to turn that off. I can do these things. So I have the duration across the top, so I could go a full, you know, if you really wanted to go, it's as long as 3 seconds, which would be good for like a longer cube turn or something like that. Or we could do a wipe, directional wipe, window slice, simple zoom, cross zoom, squeeze, flip a page. We'll do a flip page, done. So now when I go to that one source, it's going to flip a page. So I come out and now I go to that source, it turns the page. And if you were doing something and you had different segments, like, hey, I'm going to talk for a little bit and now let's go to our interview. Turning the page is actually pretty cool. What you don't want to do is you don't want to keep going back and forth between the two different things and keep flipping the page the whole time. Now, that's where your source duplication comes in. So you can come in here, you can replicate, and then let me see if this one has a transition. I can turn this off, done. So now I can have one where the first time I go to that scene, I do the page turn. Hey, now we're talking about the news and everything. And now if I'm going to talk about something for a while, I can come back to me, I can go back to the news, I can come back to me, go back to the news. So that page turn is available just on, it's just on this input, not this input. So if I touch this one, I get the page turn. Go back to me. And if I touch that one down here that I duplicated and then turned off the page turn, it just cuts. So that is how you can use that replicate feature to make the most of another, the individual transition and input. It's also very useful for if you're doing a show and you want to go to video. You transition to the video, you do it like to the video as opposed to going to the video, and things like that. Supports multi-view out. And if you have been in the broadcast industry for a while, the multi-view is something we use a lot. If you've used an ATEM, if you used any sort of broadcast switcher, that's what we do. And that the reason that where that comes from is the person pushing the buttons on the device is usually not the person who's calling the show. There's a director, and then the person pushing the buttons is the technical director. And those are phrases that go back a long way. I have been both technical director and director, and then in shows that I do myself for various clients, I'm both. But the director and technical director are two completely different roles. If you're on a big show, the person running graphics is a separate person. The person running audio is a separate person. The person managing the comments is a separate person. The person setting up your PowerPoints and all that stuff, that's all integrated into the one box. Yes, we can all do it, but at a certain point, it becomes a lot for one person to manage. So the bigger and more complex a show is, they spread that out across multiple people. And the person doing the switching, you know, he's like, ready VTR1, that's a video playback, go playback, cut to one, you know. And then the director's just calling. He knows what's going on. He knows what's coming up. He's got the plan. He's got the schedule and everything. And they're going to tell the person, I want you to cut to that source. How do they know what else is going on if they're not in front of the thing? And that's where the multi-view comes from. So we go into the gear settings, go to the let me go to this. Go to the gear settings right here, scroll up to the HDMI out. We're going to click on the HDMI out. You see where it says program out? So if I click on program out, you're only going to see the program. Mirror mirrors what's on the actual screen of the YoloBox. Basically, you know, whenever I do a tutorial, I use the mirror out. Now the multi-view out is new. If you click on the gear icon, you can choose and build your setup. Do you want just 4? Do you want 3 big ones and 4 little ones? Do you want 1 big one and a bunch of little ones? Do you want 2 across the top? Which is usually how lots of broadcasts is done, because they'll have preview and program. The preview is the left window, program is the right window. So when the director calls ready VTR, he wants to see that come up in the preview. That's what's next. He's previewing what's going to come into the program next. And then he says, you know, go VTR or take it, or whatever their phrase is. Different directors said different things. And then that moves into program. And then you've got just a multi-view with all the different sources, and that doesn't scroll. So that's all that's there. And then here on the right, you can see the middle one is selected. And then over here, you can see each of these has a little drop down. So I can decide what the layout is. I can put different things into different inputs. So I can click on the none and pick all of these, all my different sources. So I can put program down there. I can put HDMI 1, side by side, PDF, all the different things I've created. Now, I don't have enough things that can even fill all the slots that are here. But if you're doing a big show, yes, you will have all of that. And you can have, you know, I have hooked up to 15 cameras to the YoloBox Ultra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and program. You still can't see all the cameras that are active, you know, that could potentially be sources to choose from, not to mention your overlays and things like that. And this doesn't show preview. So the director calling the show would literally rely on the person in front of the box to make sure that they've got the correct thing at the ready. And when he or she calls it, that it would appear in program, even if it's not in one of the previews. But like we said, you can choose this preview. Now you've got, you know, forces where you got 16 sources that you can see on the screen at one time. And this one, like I said, here is your program HDMI 1. Let's see, can you choose? There actually is no preview, so it doesn't matter. You can't do preview program because there is no preview to select. And so you can just do that one. And that way you can send this out, your HDMI out, if you don't need the HDMI for program. So if you're streaming or you're using NDI out for your program or whatever your, you know, system, your layout is, you can then use your multi-view to see this. So I say done, and then I turn on multi-view out. So now this is the HDMI out from the YoloBox Ultra, and this can be put up on a big monitor in front of the director, and the director just sits there and, yeah, do this, ready that, cue this up, you know, get the sideline camera, go 2, go 3, you know, and just call stuff as directors are wont to do. So that's what the multi-view out is. And just I like the ability when you're in here, when you're in to, you're only looking at the multi-view out. Let me reset that so you're looking at the mirror out. I do like the ability that for each of these inputs, it's just like, oh, I want this one to be here. I want this one to be HDMI. You could very easily toggle each of those inputs to be what you want them to be. Done. Supports audio recording when live streaming. So in your record encode format, I don't see the audio recording per se when you are live streaming, unless you have a gear setting. I don't see where that is. It supports it, but I have found it. Get your NDI out, you get your video source, your stream encoding settings, your streaming mode. Obviously, we know what that is because that's been pretty standard since the beginning. Let's go back into my tools order, make sure I didn't turn something off. Replay, scoreboard, video source transitions, and network bonding. So I don't see where that tool is. Maybe it's in, let's go in the YoloDeck configuration again. Local video, PDF, image, scoreboard, comment, PTZ, other. Let's look at that. Last config, next config. Stream and record. Nope, I don't see that over here as well. Audio. Nope. And again, this is where the background music controls lie because I don't see them available if you don't have a YoloDeck. I don't know how you're going to execute the background music. Yes. YoloDeck button update. Yes, there's an update because there's more buttons. They keep growing the capabilities that you used under the speaker icon. Audio mixer settings. That's the full size speaker. The speaker icon, noise reduction, mic in, audio gain, audio fade setting. Oops, just the audio gain. Info, got it. I don't see it. Adjustment to functions in the settings. They move certain things around. Recording file directory structure optimized. So if you are managing your recordings on the YoloBox, well, there's no recordings on the YoloBox itself. Stills, your other graphics, it does do that. Do you see a yellow flip right at the top? That was interesting. It does allow you to see those when browsing your media. Storage settings, SD card, right? Because that's all I have plugged in. So let's go back to here, side by side. SD card management. Portable storage management, no USB. Let us exit this. Exit this. Recordings. I apparently don't have any recordings on here to manage, but I do have videos on the card. I have 2 gigabytes of content on this card, but it's not showing me any of the content. So I actually don't know where that would happen. Supporting adding web pages as a video source. This is actually very handy. Let's go in. Go back into the show. We're going to add down to the bottom here now. It says web. I'm going to click on web. We're going to add, let's just add the wheel of names. Done. Now it's going to go to that website, and there it is. I've got the website coming right in here, and I don't need a laptop to be able to bring in a website to show people. Moreover, you see that little icon right there with the finger? The finger? Apparently it's right-handed. If you click on that, it brings up the web page so that you can actually drag and control it with your finger. Let's go to my overhead. So I'm actually just dragging on it like this. And if I want to highlight, hey, look at this thing. It double tap, it zooms in. Double tap, it zooms out. Double tap on this, zooms in. Double tap on that. It's kind of like iPad-ish in kind of knowing how far to zoom in. Remember when the iPad came out? Look, you can quick zoom into an area to see it nice and big. And then it says tap to spin. I can actually interact with the web page. So I tapped it to spin. It's going to get to a certain point, and it'll say, yes, that person won. Yay. The thing I can't do, I can click on the button. I can say remove that now, but I can't like select the names and remove them. It won't let me do anything. Also, I can't, like my cursor is there, but a keyboard does not come up. So you can't enter information into here. Maybe if you had a USB keyboard connected. I haven't tried that, but right now I'm able to tap using the screen, but a keyboard does not come up to enable me to do anything here. Another thing to note is I'm seeing this on the surface of the YoloBox, but the audience, there's a little exit, hit the exit. The audience is still seeing everything. So if I did like a side by side, let's do 2 views. I actually had this set up before, but it goes away. Edit this, reselect this and this, done. So now there's the wheel of names over there, done. And now I go to this, I can have this be my program while, if I go, no, maybe you can't. Oh, you can't. So in order to act on it, you have to be able to touch this. Let's try something else. If I move this up, now it's number 2. And I come down here to work on this. Can I switch to number 2? So this says my number 2 is now the active source output, even though I'm working in here. I don't have a way to actually see that without changing the output of the program. So let's do that. Let's go to the output, HDMI out. I just want to see program. And then we go back to, that's my program with the 2, but I want to act on it. So let's look at the ultra output. So I'm seeing what I just touched, but if I switch back, it does work. Now the program is, there we go. The program is the multi-source. But if we look at the overhead, my screen is still the interface. So I can move this around. And if we switch to the program output, you can see I'm moving it around, but just in the multi-view because I switched to the multi-view with the YoloDeck. So now my program out is the multi-view with the web input. And I can still touch on the wheel and activate the wheel of names and have it spin in a multi-view where I'm talking about the wheel. Yay, Hannah won again. Yay. And then I can exit that. And now looking at the overhead, you can see it is indeed showing that is my program output that was switched using the YoloDeck. After selecting it full screen and activating, I'm doing this, then I touch that. So I'm saying go back to the multi-view for program out, even though I've got this up on the screen for me to work on. So that is kind of cool. You can add web pages as a video source, but as we've seen, it's a little tricky to be able to like utilize them when they're not the primary piece. Like if you want to have a picture in picture and talking about it while working on it, while activating it. Supports a drop-down menu. So we've got this drop-down menu here. Let's go to the Ultra. Oh, now you're just looking at the program. Let me fix the program. Boop, 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 mirror out. So now I've got this drop-down menu where it shows me on the left here, it shows me what connections I've got. It would show me whether I'm bonding or not, resolution of my show, how long I've been live, the bit rate, frames per second, all that stuff. Also very important, your CPU and memory usage, so that you can really assess how hard you're pushing your YoloBox. And if all of a sudden you have drop frames, are you pushing it too hard? Are you asking too much of it? Do you have too many inputs and too many videos and too many overlays and all this stuff? That's where you can tell. Whereas if you're loafing along at 45%, 50%, 60%, and your viewers are seeing drop frames, it's probably not the YoloBox. It's probably maybe your connection to the internet or their connection to the internet or something like that. So that's one of the first places to look if you're having issues to help debug where exactly it's happening. Another update is the scrolling text now supports bidirectional. Let's actually check that out. We're going to go in here. We're going to create a new titles. I think it's here. No, it's not here. Thanks. No, it's not a video overlay. It's not a social overlay. Rolling caption. I don't know why it's there. Huh? Reselect template text. This is my text that you will see all the time when I bring up this title. Scrolling speed, slide direction, slide left or slide right. So if you're writing in Hebrew, this is going to be useful. Scrolling type, repeated scrolling or one-time scrolling. Auto hide after so long. I love auto hide is a great feature to have it built in here. Scrolling speed, you can adjust the speed of it. You can just grab it and bring it down the bottom like that. Text color, background color. So you can give it a background to make it a little bit more readable. Size it down a little bit like that. Say done, and then bring it up. So now, and it's reversing the letters that I typed in because it's scrolling in the opposite direction. This is my text that you will see all the time when I bring up the title. Let us go into that title. We will slide left, done, bring it up. And this is the title sliding in the opposite direction. Transition displays as a new tab. All right, we'll turn that title off. Turn that title off. Transition displays. Gotta find those transition displays. Tool order. Video source transitions. So we're going to add this so that we can look at it. So now, oh, I forgot to say tool order. It's up there. Done. And it moves everything around. So when you make a change here and then say done, the thing you can't do here is you can't move things to the other side of the gear icon. You can't use the gear icon as a differentiator. It always likes to put the gear icon at the very end. But once you're done using this, and let's just say you're over here in audio mixing settings, you can take the gear icon and hold it and then move it to wherever you want. And I like to use it as a differentiator. But then if you make a change in those settings, it's going to put the gear icon back into the corner. So now here's the transition settings. And these are exactly what we saw when we opened up the transition settings for a particular input. You know, whether you want your transition to always be a cut. Now this is for everything. Do you always want it to be a cut, or do you always want it to be a 3-second fade? So, hey, let's go back to me. All right, let's go to close up of me. Let's go to the 2-shot. Oh, it cut that, probably because it wasn't done yet. There we go. There we go. Yes, I would not recommend a 3-second fade to be your normal transition. We're going to take it back to a second. We're going to go back to cut. And all the same things that we saw when we went into that particular, remember we were here and the page peel, because we didn't transition action for that particular thing. These are the same exact, this is the same exact list when we opened when we took this input and we opened the transition action right here. This is the same list, cancel, that we have over here. This is global. This is for every input. This is for every single time you change inputs. And when you click it over here, it's just for that one input. But every time you touch that input, it will always use that transition you select, which is why I created two, because I may want to transition in with a page peel the first time I go to this, but I don't want to do it every time. So this one is just the normal cut, which is this, or whatever you select over here. And they mentioned that the new style of the audio mixer is back. And this is something that I have been asking for since the Pro came out, is that I needed the meters to be faster. I need to see stereo, because there's times when you plug in a microphone and for whatever reason, it's just only coming in on the one channel. You don't know what's happening if you can't see both meters. And the meter that they gave you up here was not as reactive, and it is not in stereo. So there's that. One thing I would love to do at this point in time, and we can also see how it works with the audio meters, is that I'm going to turn on the audio, the remote guests. I'm going to put in earbuds, and I'm going to bring up that QR code again. There it is. And we're going to make this full screen. So you can join right here, and I'm going to try to transition everything over to the Ultra at this point. Hello, hello. 1, 2, 1, 2. I should hear it. I don't hear it. Ultra. Okay. That does not seem to be working. Interestingly, because the really weird thing is, I have it set so that the program audio out right there. Mic in, audio fade settings. Nope. I have the audio set. I'm taking the HDMI out. There we go. Can't hear you there. Yeah, I turned off the studio mic so that the audio would go into. Oh, interesting. I guess I need a second studio mic, because that's what's feeding here. No, cam. This comes from. No, that cam HDMI 1 audio always works. So if I turn off the studio mic, there is audio. Still working. Oh, wait. I kind of see it. There we go. Let me turn this up a little bit here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't know why the audio is so low coming out of the Ultra, but there it is. Just incredibly low. But I think we have it now. And let us go back to the Ultra and see whether that will give us a guest. There's echo, yes. Well, there shouldn't be echo now. There shouldn't be echo as long as I only have the one input connected. Somebody texted me. It says I have a web connection on my YOLO, but I don't. Yeah, I don't. But this is where you can join the show, and I will see if someone joins us on here, and their connection will be completely through the Ultra. And you should only hear me through the Ultra, as far as I can tell. And so if you see this code, I'm going to try to scan it with my phone. Yep, that's working. Ooh, Hassan has joined us. And I can see Hassan. Let's go to my guest thing. Guests are muted by default. Let's see, Hassan is indeed muted by default. It's interesting. When I tried it for myself, my phone was not muted by default, but we'll turn on audio follows video, and then I will add a new two view with me and Hassan and say done. And the interesting thing is you can't build these things in advance until you have to wait till somebody comes up and decides to join the show. Done. And then we'll bring this up here. So, Hassan.
I should put my cap on.
I don't know. I see the audio moving, but I don't hear it.
You know, hear me?
No, I
Let's
am
see
not.
here.
There it goes.
Can you hear me now? Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, perfect. Hey, yeah, I use this feature as a remote call sometimes when we are doing a cricket show, and literally we have people from like India or all over the world joining in as a remote commentator. So at times this YOLO becomes a very interesting tool because correct. So actually, we had like a complete commentary team. I think you saw one of the picture. I was doing a show in LA. We were streaming a USA Cricket National Tournament there. I had like 7 games going on in 7 different ground. I was all streaming via YOLOs, and then my main ground has like 4 or 5 cameras, and we have live commentator, and then we have a guest. And I use this feature instead of a vmix call. We use this feature and it has a better result because it was very quick. Correct. See, a lot of people really the power to me about this tool is especially when, let's say, the game is ended and there's an award ceremony happening. Well, while the team is doing the wrap up, I literally just take the YOLO, runs the commercials on that so the people are seeing commercial, takes one camera, mount the YOLO on top, and goes in front of the ground and then just do the production switch right there. That is to me is really the absolute worth, of YOLO product. Yep. Indeed. Correct. That's true. But especially the problem I come across is the grounds we are streaming from. We do not have great internets there. So I'm always juggling with the T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, these mobile hotspots. Thanks to 5G now, the quality is getting better on the internet download and upload speeds. But it's a great risk. SRT is something I have tried in a recent event, but it's a challenge. I'm not that comfortable yet because sometimes YOLO just in the middle goes dark, and you're like, what happened? So that can happen.
I'm getting comments that people are not able to hear me, even though my audio is passing through the YOLO here, but they're able to hear you. So
Correct.
I'm getting comments that they can't hear you, multiple comments. So hopefully they
So
can hear me now.
you might want to check your mic levels on the call because it itself becomes a separate video. So see if that is not muted.
The call is you're here and your levels are at 0, and I'm here and my levels I didn't actually change my levels,
Mm,
but I've now added my audio back in the main program. So it's very interesting that it would have that effect somehow that, let's see, I'm actually going to try something here. HDMI 2, if I turn this 3, 4. So yes, HDMI 2 is the other mixing board. And when I turn that off, I still have audio coming through the YoloBox,
your
but
audio is working, by the way.
you can hear my
Means
audio.
I just no, I can hear in this call, but I have our your live program is running 10 seconds delayed or 5-second delayed, but I'm able to hear the audio there as well.
As well, now that I've added the other mixer in the other mixing board, very interesting,
Got it.
very interesting. It's when audio is one of those things where because you can't see it, it's totally mystical. Where is it going? What path is it taking to get
Absolutely.
there? It's one of the hardest things to really manage. Um,
Yeah, in my early days, that was the number one where I'm calling the cameras and people are like, hey, we still hear you. I was like, crap. So I agree with you.
oh yeah, and there was one time I was doing a show and they wanted to have an archive of the call as well. They wanted like a behind the scenes. So it's like, well, we've got this recorder with 4 channels. We'll just feed the comms into channel 4, just so it's there. It's recorded and it'll be with the show. So it's
Correct.
not like a separate audio file. And then somebody was like, "Well, we hear the audio in the main program." And I'm like, "How? It's not in the main 2 channels." But I don't know. It was somewhere there, so we just scrapped that idea. But
Yep.
it's one of those things that you can't see where it's going wrong when it goes wrong. That's the hardest thing.
Especially when you have these nowadays, then you're trying to do the NDIs and a couple of that stuff. It just makes it more complicated. So I'm
More things
really
on the network, yes.
yes. So it's just more difficult now. But yeah,
Well, I thank you for jumping in. I appreciate you taking the time and working with me while I was trying to get all the bits situated better.
absolutely. I just want to make a quick comment. Your show for any YOLO users or any streaming user is been a life of it. Like I listen in every time whenever I get an opportunity. I've learned so much from you. So thank you for what you do. Keep spreading this knowledge. Trust me, there are a lot of people out there who uses this. So really appreciate what you do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And with that, we've been going for a good hour. Well, I've been going for an hour and a half with the pre-show, but I am going to wrap up today's show with this. And I appreciate everyone who has watched today, posted questions, let me know when you can't hear me, and things like that. That's also been very helpful. And we have gone through the 274 update with all the different features. And I think some of these features are really going to be beneficial. Key is video source duplication and being able to do different effects with that. individual transitions attached to those inputs. Now you can fade to this, but dissolve to that. That's really cool without having to have an auto and a mix on different things. And we don't have preview program on here, which is where those auto and cut transitions would happen. Updating the YOLO deck. I would like to see the background music controls on the YOLO box itself, because I don't see where that is. Being able to customize your functions and your capabilities and rearrange them, that's a very, very helpful thing. And the mix minus on the audio. So being able to have that conversation with a remote guest where I'm not hearing myself with an echo and have to like try and force my way through it while I'm talking, that is, it literally makes that feature usable. Whereas if you have to constantly fight against your own delayed audio, it makes that feature so much harder to use. So the remote guest feature on the Pro and the Mini is still you. There's no mix minus for yourself. So I've already done a solution. It's available in the YoloBox videos on YouTube. That is where you basically use a remote camera and you become a remote guest into your own show. So you get your show over here, but you're talking to the cell phone and you're listening to from the cell phone. And that cell phone gives you the mix minus so that you don't hear yourself, but you do hear everybody else and everything else that's playing through the show coming into the phone as programmed that you listen to. So that's the way around it for the YoloBox Mini and the YoloBox Pro. But the Ultra now gives you the audio follows video for bringing on remote guests, and their audio goes away when they go off, and it gives you the little headphone icon so that you can say, "I don't want to hear myself." So with that, um, my name is Anthony Barocas. I am here for StreamTek, and you can, of course, always see us at Stream Technology on YouTube and also Stream Technology on Facebook. With that, I will look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for watching.